Okay, again, as I mentioned earlier, this was kind of impromptu, so I don't have any slides made up or anything. And I thought what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and just actually go into the area where we keep all the memos. And I'm just going to actually take one memo and walk through the memo of what you guys will need to update. The other thing too is you need to speak with your division as far as any changes that may have occurred, especially to stipends or salary support percentages, or maybe the person's no longer going to receive any salary support, but we still keep a memo on hand to basically document that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. Let's see. And this is the area where you're going to find the faculty memos. I believe I sent everybody a link to it. So all of you guys should have access to the faculty memos. This is the area AY 2122 is where the memos sit that I need everybody to update. So if you look for the division, and I've put the last name of each of the senior HR division partners, if you want to go ahead and make a change, you can. For instance, Deedham changed it to her name because she's probably the person taking care of the memos. So that's fine too if you want to identify your folders differently. So I'm first going to start with templates that we have. This is what we use when you have a brand new shared or joint faculty member. One of these templates would be for shared and the other one is for joint. This one here is your calculation template that you would be using to calculate what the stipend would be or what the joint shared salary would be. So in the shared memos, we have one memo that I have without a stipend at all. It's basically, that's just going to be salary support. Then the other memo has a stipend. So I'll first go into the no stipend one because it's a lot more straightforward. What I went ahead and did was I just highlighted the areas that you'll need to update. Because again, this would be a brand new person. These are not the ones that you guys will be updating now. So I'm just showing you templates. So keep that in mind. These are just templates for a brand new shared faculty member. So you update your date, the name of the HR division partner, senior HR division partner, usually is put here. Also the name of the person, for the faculty member, you'd want their first and last name here. You'd also, the academic year, you'd fill that piece in. This academic year we're working on right now is going to be 21-22. The next paragraph says this compensation memo confirms that Dr. you enter the name there, holds a year-round shared faculty appointment. Then continue down here to the third paragraph, which is also in gray. Again, fill in the name. And this is the at this point, this is where you'd insert a brief description of the work that's going to be performed at LBNL. Otherwise, include an attachment that is more detailed. So we want to kind of keep this description as brief as possible. I've seen some memos that they're very explicit, very detailed, talks about how to split everything and so forth. If you do have something like that, an attachment would be good because it makes it easier whenever you have to update these memos, which can happen frequently, or not necessarily frequently, but different things can happen throughout the year, which you may have to do revisions. So the next area, it says LBNL salary support will be at what percent. So this would say the percentage of salary support that campus will be compensating. Since this is a shared memo, it can be different percentages. Joint faculty, it's usually 50% only, but shared can have different configurations. We also want to put the year here from July 1st to June 30th. Again, doctor's name in there. And again, these it says to receive a monthly stipend of, you'd figure out the calculation in the calculation sheet, enter that here. And then again, the dates here. So these numbers here in this box, it says salary support, and it gives the date from July 1st through June, because this person has no stipend. So there's no areas that you have to be concerned about to not let them receive a stipend. So what I would do first before working on that memo, you may want to start with your calculation sheet first, because this is the sheet that you're going to be pulling. What happened here? Oh, there we go. This is the sheet that you're going to be pulling all your numbers from to fill out the memo. In this sheet, you'd put the person's name, again, academic year. If this is an initial memo, in the case of you'd have a brand new person, it would be an initial memo. It would not be a revision. And then the date that you prepared it. In the very first box, in that kind of orangey beige color box where it says UC 9/12 academic annual salary provided by campus, this is the salary that campus will be giving you, which is a 9/12 salary. So when you enter that salary in here, this little top, these three top boxes here, which is column B and C and rows 8 through 10, is where these calculations will run. So say, for instance, I'm going to put in one $190,000 that this person receives as an academic salary. So that's.
But I have a question.
Okay.
You had mentioned that UC camp, we get, I mean, do we reach out to UC campus for these rates, or how do we find these rates?
When you, basically the rates are given to me every year. So I usually have these rates. So basically the memos that you'll be looking at have already have confirmed rates on them.
Oh, okay.
So if there's, but say you have a brand new person and we're just setting up a brand new shared appointment, you would get this rate from campus and you'd give me the rate. And then what I would do is I just reconfirm again through campus that this is the correct rate. And campus again will be giving you their academic rate. So keep that in mind. So when you go to enter that though into the system, into UC.
Sorry, Pat, before we go any further, it's Selena, sorry. Can one of the HRDPs speak to Jenny's question about how they request the information from campus?
Obviously not.
Well, I mean, to me, the example that Pat was saying is for someone he knew.
Yes,
Like
it's for somebody new.
Yeah, because most of us, well, for me, I can't say it, most of us, for me in my area, I've had the same person. So it's been, you know, pretty, I mean, there is, Pat has that, Pat is included, and then the person on campus in that department is included, and we verify, or Pat's been verifying what the salary is, because this person's been ongoing. Right.
Right. Yes. And that's what I'm talking about is mainly a new one. And usually the division, I'm not sure how you guys get the information that we have a new shared faculty member coming on board, usually a new hire. That's how it would start.
It's been a while since I've worked in the field, but I know I have had to personally reach out to the campus, but working with the faculty member, you know who to contact in campus, and they've sent that information over, and we've actually made sure to ask them if the salary was 9/12. But that was my experience, and it's been a while. If anybody has had more recent experience, please share, or I'm sorry, Pat, you can go ahead and continue, and maybe we can take it offline.
Yeah.
It's Maria. Can I ask a clarifying question? So kind of in line with what LaTondra was just saying. So if like my one faculty has been a faculty member for, I don't know how long, do we need to go through this whole process, or this is just if
this is just for new people? So I'm going to go through what you guys are going to go through next. I'm just giving you a real brief overview if you had a brand new person, and these are what these templates are about.
Okay.
So yeah.
Hi, this is Kelly. We had a recent person that was just started as a faculty, and this the process involved, it wasn't me, it was Carolyn, but she was contacted by the division director, I believe.
Yes.
Who sent her all the information about the faculty member that was the employee that was becoming a faculty employee.
Right. So this would just be definitely be a new situation. So I'm just going to briefly go over this because this is not going to apply to you, but if you do have a new hire, this is how you would go about doing it. The other thing, the main reason too, I want to go over this calculation template is because when you enter, what you're going to get from campus, unless they explicitly tell you it's an annual rate, you will be getting an academic rate. So when you enter this academic rate in here, if you notice there's a line number, row number 9, which gives you your rate for ATRIS and UC Path, you notice that rate is different because what it's done is it's actually annualized. It's taken 1/9 of 9/12 and it's going to give you an annualized rate. The rate that you see in hot pink on column C is the rate that you will enter into ATRIS. This gets confusing sometimes for some folks, okay? So this is the rate you want to use, not the academic rate. So anyway, you'd fill all this form out, and in here, you would basically how much salary support, say they're going to get 50%. Everything will just run, all the calculations will run through. Stipend, there's a percentage for stipend, and all of these will apply the numbers. So that's basically the entire calculation sheet right there. And again, this is only if it's a new hire. You don't have to do this every time. Let's see, salary support. The CBR, which what this is your burden rates, and I get these updated by campus annually. This year, the burden rate is going to stay the same as last year, which is going to make it really easy to update our templates. So, I mean, yeah, to update our memos. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of this template. Again, this is for brand new. If you have a brand new faculty hire, this is where you're going to want to go if it's a shared or a joint faculty. So I'm going to go ahead and close that up. And now I'm going to go into the memos. These are the memos that you're actually going to be filling in. I went ahead and opened one up that wasn't too complicated. This is for nuclear science and physics. This memo is Dr. Wang. So if you notice here, there's a PDF here. This is the memo that's currently right now in force. So I'm going to open it up, and you can see there's probably more things that need to be updated. If you look at the from, you see Carolyn Charles and Sylvia Garcia. She hasn't been here for a little bit. And anyway, so these are the areas that we're going to look at. This is the current memo that Dr. Wang has right now. In order to update anything, you're going to have two areas you're going to look at is this calc sheet, which is like a Google sheet. And then this is a Google Doc, the memo. What this is here, this other PDF is just a PDF of the calculation sheet. So basically what I would do is after you guys update all the memos, I'll review them to make sure that there's nothing else that needs to be changed or revised. Once they're reviewed and I see that everything is solid, from there, I will turn this calculation sheet into a PDF, and then I turn the memo into a PDF and I combine them. What you saw earlier, this here is the combined memo. And this is what will be sent out to campus for approval. So this is what I sent to Heather. Once I get approval from campus, I'm sorry, I didn't need to do that. What I would do then is all of these CCs here, I would then send this memo out as like the formal official memo that this is the memo that's going out for each individual faculty person. And all of these folks here on the CCs will be included in the email, as well as the HR division partners. So you'll see this memo was from FY 20-21. We want to go ahead and open it up. You'll first of all update your date to say today's date, which would be June 15th, 2021. The next thing here, in this case, we're going to want to update the from, because this is obviously really old. So we want to get that updated. This is a joint faculty memo. So that means we're going to have a 50% salary support in this particular memo. In this case, it was Dr. Wang. This was a revision. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of this piece here because this is not a revision. Now this is the initial one. And we're going to change the dates. So we're going to change this to 21 and 22. Go ahead and just delete that. I would kind of give it at least a once over to make sure this sounds correct. The joint faculty. Any questions at this point? No. Also,
So do you put in that? Do you put in that it's a revision and next to the date or no?
this is not a revision.
Oh, I thought you said it was.
Creating, yeah. What
Okay,
we'll do
this is
we're
just
gonna-
for the new academic year.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So we're going to create a copy. We can do that now, so that way we can just rename it now. 22. We want to get rid of the word copy. And we want to get rid of the revision here because this is not a revision. This is your initial memo. Okay, so this is going to be the joint faculty memo. And I'll put today's date. Okay, this here still needs to be updated. This is an actual memo, so I don't want to do too much to it. So now also, if anything had changed, maybe they're no longer going to be receiving salary support, for instance, that I would reach out to the divisions and find out all of this information. So if that were the case, you'd still continue to do the memo, except for the salary support will be it'd be at 0%. Say, for instance, if they're no longer going to be receiving salary support. Sometimes they still want to maintain, though, the appointment of shared or joint faculty. So we do have a few that have a shared or joint faculty appointment, but there is no salary support. So the other area here in this case, look for all the dates. What you can do is just do a Control F, a find, and then start replacing. Or I think it might be an edit, I'm not sure. Find and replace, there you go. So you could say, go look up all of the July 1st, 2020, and make them all July 1st, 2021, June 30th, 2021, make those June 30th, 2022. So that's a real quick way to also make changes. If anything's changed salary-wise, what you'd want to do is go back here, pull open the calculation sheet, because we also have to update this too. This is a revised one, and this is the academic year that we're looking at. This was for 2021. We'd want to make a copy. We want to make this one 2, and it's not a revision. Make sure that the formulas went over. Okay, so now since that's the case, here we change this to 21-22. Oh dear, what's this one? Unsupported name ranges will be removed. That's fine. So this one we would change to initial, and then we change the date here. But since nothing in his salary changed, we didn't have any change in support, and also the CBR did not change, then that's all we're doing is really updating this here at the top and renaming, making a copy and renaming it. So that is completed there. This hasn't changed. Check your PIDs, please check your project IDs. Those could have changed for this year. So reach out to your resource analysts or business managers who are in charge of that and make sure that we're still using the same project ID. Otherwise, you do need to get that changed up. Let's see the monthly CBR. Now I'm looking down here where it says the base monthly salary, where we have the asterisks. That stays the same. Monthly CBR stays the same. There is no stipend here, and everything else stays the same.
Added Selena.
Yeah.
Really quick, just going back to that project ID and resource analyst and keeping them in the loop. That's how they're booking the cost. So it's really important to make sure they have the correct project ID number on there, so nothing falls into drop-offs and you don't get calls. That's why it's really important to share this type of information with your resource analyst or business manager.
Yes, because what'll happen is they'll find, I mean, it'll happen that when it goes through procurement, they'll point out to me that there's no longer an active project ID, or there's not enough funds, or whatever the case may be. So big important thing is that project ID. So once you get all of this done, like I said, just take a look at both. So now I would have, say for instance, this is the old one. I would put that in archive. This is the calc, put it in archive. The joint memo, you could leave that out if you'd like. Again, the FY 2021 archive. But these two here, once they're completed, I would then take those and move them into this new memo folder here. So each area, each division will have an area that says new memos. So then that's what I would do from there. So I'd take the new updated memos. This is the 21, this one, and then I'd move them over to the, so I could say Control X. Let's see. I could put them on the outside there. When I come in here, they're going to be just sitting out here. Then I can just grab them and move them in here. So that's pretty much it. Now, the only difference would be if you, for instance, do have a person that does have a salary increase, then what the biggest thing would be is that you would then, see, I think Tina might have one. You would go into here, into the calculation sheet, make a copy, and then you'd make your change here. Right here, where it says the annual increase. Excuse me. So I'll be getting those out later on today of who needs to do an increase and so forth. Excuse me, I'm getting allergies. So I think that's pretty much it. Is everybody okay with that, or?
Sorry. So back to Daniel Rockshire. So I just need to confirm project ID with the RA, and just to confirm the rate. Well, I think Tina, you know the updated rate.
No, I don't know if his salary has increased, so I can,
I'll be sending that.
oh, okay, good.
I'm the,
Thank
yes,
you.
I'm the person that holds all the rates. So I
Okay.
know
Oh,
all
okay.
of the updated rates and so forth. And again, I get those from campus and they're formally verified by Heather Archer. So even if you give me a rate from saying campus, you know, Professor so-and-so says this person got an update, I still have to go back and I still have to verify the rate. So yeah, and there's a handful, like I said, there's maybe 8 total.
Okay, so while we wait for your email, then the only thing that we need to do is check with the RA and the project ID.
Right. You want to go ahead and get that checked on, and also check with the division. I'm not sure if the business manager who, or maybe the faculty person themselves, is there any changes that have happened since the last time? So that's the other thing you want to check for. So yeah, I'll be sending out the list of the updates and who needs what, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you, Pat.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions or?
And just to confirm, these are all due by Friday?
Yes, if you can get them to me by Friday. And like I said, the majority of them, you're going to be just mainly changing your dates and just revising the dates. So unless something changed as far as the assignment goes or the actual, you know, appointment, something changed within that.
Okay.
So go ahead and reach out to me if you guys have any other questions or you're not sure with your particular issue. I can help with that. Okay, anybody else? Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm hoping to get more trainings out for you guys too with faculty.
Great,
So-
thank you.
Pat,
Yes,
sorry, I was having an
no
unstable
problem.
connection. And there was a question for the
Oh, you're chopping up, Kelly.
Kelly, maybe put it in chat.
Hi, Kelly. Yeah, we can't hear. Hello?
we have to verify also.
Yep,
Did you get my chat?
let me see. No.
Okay, I think I'm okay now.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just wondering if we're supposed to also verify all the CCs on the memos
Yes,
to make sure.
please. Thank you. Thank
correct.
you. Thank you, Kelly. Verify all the CCs and please make sure that you have your resource analysts and business managers, because a lot of times they're left out of these, and that's a big problem. Because like Selena mentioned earlier, these, PIDs, they need to be all looped in. So make sure that your finance folks are looped in too.
And more so, they have to make sure the funding is there.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're not going to get CC'd if they're not on that list. So even if you have maybe another assistant HR division partner assistant, because again, these are mainly to the senior division partners, add the assistant, not the assistant, but add the regular HR division partner as part of the CCs, if they also need to be maybe tracking or handling parts of the memo. You want to make sure that they're included when any updates happen. So, and what I'll do too is once I get the formally approved memos, then I'm going to put them back in these folders. So all of you guys should have a copy of what is out there, what is the current memo, and what are we paying on. So that should be helpful too. Okay, anybody else? Well, thank you everybody for showing up at such short notice. And again, I'm going to try to get more trainings going, at least for faculty folks, because I know they're confusing. Take care, everyone.